Welcome back, Chicago. Well, my next guest is not here in Chicago, but he is a legal scholar specializing in international and comparative criminal law, comparative constitutional law, international law, and legal issues surrounding war, torture, and terrorism. He is the dean of the Tzfat Academic College in Israel, and I'm absolutely honored and thrilled to welcome Professor Mohammed Wattad onto the program. Professor, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure, and I know that it is very late into the evening, or I should say into the morning, out in Israel. But so we certainly appreciate you joining us here on the air. So, Professor, you have, as I mentioned, as the dean of the academic college, the law school in particular. It's so exciting to have you on the program. So, Professor, if you could tell us about the law school at the college, that would be most helpful.
Definitely. Thank you for having me here first, and an honor and pleasure being with you. I had almost said tonight because it's 2 a.m. in the morning in Israel. Well, here's the thing about this special law school in Israel. It's one of only 2 public colleges in Israel. And it's located in the very north of the state of Israel, namely the northern periphery. What is unique about it, apart from being public college, which is in Israel, it's very rare because it's either you have a university, which is a public institute, or you have a private college. But here you have a public college. So we basically established this college in order to provide legal education to the periphery, where we're talking about working population who doesn't have the required finance to admit to private colleges, and at the same time, usually they don't have the required academic achievement in order to admit to the university. So by establishing this special law school, in the northern side of the state of Israel, we basically solved this problem for them, and we allow them to study law. Now, you should understand, I guess you do understand that in Chicago as well, same as in Israel, if you acquire the required legal education, it is basically the key for every possible high position in the state. Without such legal education, you don't even know your rights. You hardly know how to ask for your rights. And of course, you can't acquire high positions in the public sphere. So this law school has been already there for 12 years almost. I'm one of the founding staff members of the law school in Israel. And since then, the law school has become one of the leading schools in Israel with a very serious academic members, a wide range of population among the students, and that's why we talk about multiculturalism in our school. It's because not only that we have Arabs and Jews, secular and religious women and men, etc., but it's literally a place of multiculturalism. We are aware of this multiculturalism, and we work on it all the time in order to develop it, to make things be better, to make people understand what coexistence means. It's not just about knowing about each other, but knowing each other at the same time. So it's one of the very nice places, not just to be at and get your diploma, but also to live at the same time as a student.
Absolutely, and I'm chatting with Professor Mohammed Wattad, the dean of the law school at the Tzfat Academic College. And Professor, you were just talking about the enormous growth at the college, I believe over the past decade, upwards of 52% growth. And I'm absolutely fascinated and blown away and inspired by the fact that 90% of the students in the college as a whole are first-generation college students, as you said, lots of multiculturalism as well. And Professor, I understand that you studied at Columbia University as well as you certainly have spent time, I know, in California, visiting as an associate professor at the University of California. So you know the United States very, very well. But for our listeners that have not, and I emphasize yet, yet visited the Tzvat Academic College. Can you describe the scene, and I mean that quite literally, the scene of where the college is located and why it's such a fantastic place to study in all of the different programs, whether it's the law school or some of the other areas of the college?
First of all, you correctly mentioned that I'm a graduate of Columbia University, both for the LLM degree and for the JD degree. And I taught as well at the University of California at Irvine. So this kind of experience that I received in both places helped me a lot to lead my law school back in Tzfat. Knowing that, usually in Israel, unfortunately, we do believe that we're alone in the world. But all of a sudden, when you come back from abroad, particularly from the United States, you know about other opportunities. So one of the leading things that occurred at this law school is bringing to the law school leading professors from the country, leading among them those who attended law schools in the States, in Europe, and in other areas in the world. And by that, they opened doors, they opened opportunities for the students. It's not just about the names and the very high reputation of these professors, but also about the programs that we provide them with. We speak about international courses taught in English as well, so that, for them, it should not be the first time to speak English, legal English, when they attend the LLM program in the States, but starting already on campus.
Amazing. It's a great place to study, and really, for a developing college, is really having a particularly fascinating impact around the world. And I'd love to, in our few minutes remaining, talk a little bit about that. I know that you have your areas of interest and your areas of focus, but certainly your colleagues in the world of academia, as well as even your students and the folks that are coming through the program, they are having an impact. Can you talk a little bit about that and the impact far beyond just the magical landscape of Israel's Galilee of the Tzvat Academic College?
Well, here's the thing. We make sure that we invite to our law school leading figures from the Israeli judiciary, from the Supreme Court of Israel. Leading among them, we hosted Chief Justice Aaron Barak, who is also well known in the United States. At the same time, we hosted Professor George Fletcher from Columbia University. These kind of figures, these kind of people, when they come to our school, they don't just talk about, legal education or pure legal education, but they also challenge the students with contemporary issues in the world. But Israel is a very well open to comparative law in the world. We study cases from America, we study cases from England, from Canada, from Germany, and from other places. And therefore, when they visit us, they all the time share these stories and they share these cases and their experiences about the world. So we provide our students with extra factor, just beyond the regular classic courses. We provide them with this worldwide experience about contemporary issues. As you know, maybe I'm not sure whether your audience are well aware about the ongoing clashes between the Israeli judiciary and the Israeli government. So in these cases, it's not just about politics, but it's about legal education, particularly constitutional legal education. So we talk about that. We discuss that. We allow students to speak up and to provide their voices and their insights about these issues. And that makes this place not just about, clashes between students about political points of view, but rather a very well-profiled players for freedom of expression, for expressing their views, for debating, for convincing. And by that, I hope we generate a new generation of respect, of dignity, a very well-educated and respectful generation.
Absolutely, and you certainly are accomplishing all of those things, having an incredible influence throughout state of Israel as well as across the world. Again, I've been chatting with Professor Mohammed Wattad, the Dean of the Law School at the Tzvat Academic College, and we are just about out of time, so I do want to make sure our listeners can learn more about the college and find ways to support and learn about all of that impact. The website is et.ac.il, and there's an English page as well. And Professor, I hope that our listeners will come out and visit and see the beautiful campus and continue to stay in touch. We'll invite you back on real soon. Thank you, Professor.
That'll be all, pleasure. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. And coming up after the break, I'm going to be chatting with Stephen Lefkoff from Lefkoff Law. Cannot wait for that conversation. More small business jobs and entrepreneurship is on Get Down to Business when we return in just a moment.